Hello again, greetings from Zhuhai, where I'm actually with Peter Johnston, the tournament director of WTA Elite Trophy. Peter, what a night yesterday. It was really quite something, action-packed, and Kuznesova's game. Really, it's a shame that, she was ready for that game. However, somehow she just couldn't deliver.
Well, it came a great opponent in Roberta Vinci, former US Open finalist this year, and coming in really good form. And it was such a classic match. And now it's all there for Kuznetsova. She has to win today to survive.
Indeed, I was about to say, let's talk about this game today. Kuznetsova taking on Caroline Wozniacka, former world #1 here. Now, for Caroline, she looks fresh, she looks ready, and she's been practicing for days, and she really would like to, walk home with this victory here.
That's right. She's been here a few days now, as you say, and she's getting hungrier and hungrier. I think really wanting to get on the court. So it'll be interesting. I think it's a great matchup with her.
But for the Russian girl, lady here, this is a must-win situation, don't you think so?
Yeah, it is. And look, she's still feeling very confident. She won Moscow last week, and even though she lost yesterday, you'd think that she's still pretty much playing at the top of her game. So we're expecting a really good match.
Indeed. Actually, early on, I spoke to her, and as you mentioned, she told me that she is in good form, especially after winning in Moscow. Her confidence is right back now. So let's take a listen to what she has to say. Svetlana, welcome to Zhuhai. Great to have you with us. So I understand this is sort of like a last-minute thing for you as an alternate to come here. Did it come as a surprise, or how happy are you to be in this city perhaps you've never been to in the past?
Yeah, exactly. I'm always happy to come back to China because I'm sponsored by Chaodan, and I have lots of friends, and it's always nice. I feel very warm, welcoming.
And also you did well here in China.
Of course. I always feel very warm welcome here. And I was in Moscow when I won Kremlin Cup. They text me back and forward. Thank you. I text back and forward with WTA, and they asked me to come. I had 2 days to think, and I decided it's a great opportunity for me to play some more tennis and to experience new city in China. So I'm really happy.
Well, so are we, especially to have a two-time Grand Slam winner here, to be part of Zhuhai. Now, in the past, right, when you were about just 20, you won your first Grand Slam. Perhaps that would come as a surprise. Or did it come too early, too soon? Because, then afterwards, shall we say, recap a little bit, and you went went through this kind of ups and downs, and then eventually 5 years later, you shined again in Paris. How would you characterize this kind of developing career?
It rather comes earlier than never, so it's good. I'm happy I did it when I was 19. Definitely it was very tough time after that because it was lots of expectations and I didn't have a lot of knowledge how to handle it, but it took me time, it gave me a lot of experience. Everybody thinks like when I was 19 and when I won in 2009, it was a whole, and it's not like that because in 2006 I was #2 in the world. I played 2 finals of French and of Roland Garros. I've been in the top 10 for like 5 years, I'm not sure, I never counted that. But I've been there all the time, so I didn't doubt myself. I mean, it just took time, tennis, it ups and downs, a lot of players have it, only few players always rising and always stay in the top, 1-2 players, that's it. The rest is always ups and downs because we have females, we have lots of things going through. We have seasons very long, many years.
True.
And look at Radwanska. She had horrible few months of the season. She couldn't win a match, and now she win the tournament in the championships. And this can happen. The important is to keep going and keep playing, and one day the result will come.
So, in other words, another Grand Slam title could be possible, could be on the way, right? I mean, you never rule that out.
You never know. I just keep playing and keep giving my best, and what happens will happen.
Rio Olympics is coming up soon. In the past, you represented Russia as well, and are we going to see you in Rio?
Yes, I hope. I have to qualify because there is few Russians, always playing there. But of course, I would love to go there.
But what would you like to be most, in a sense, to end your career of sporting?
You never know. Life has very strange twists.
That's very true.
In the end, and you plan one thing, and then happens another thing. I would like people to remember me like honest, fun, kind person, and
which you are.
I'm not some fake or whatever. So I'm always true to myself, true to my mind, my heart, whatever, and through my fans.
Okay, on that note, we need to wrap up this conversation. Svetlana, thank you so much. I wish you all the best down the line.
Thank you very much.
Спасибо.
Спасибо. Xixi.
Well, there you go, Kuznetsova. This is a must-win situation for her. Let's see how she fares today. But early on, Peter, and we have another game before this one. Venus Williams, who looks pretty strong and good, will take on our home favorite, Zheng Saisai. You pick on that.
Well, look, obviously Venus being the top seed is the favourite, but when you have China's own playing in China, anything can happen.
The only female player here, right?
It is, and look, I think the crowd is going to be right behind Saisai. Venus certainly has the respect for her, but Venus has so much to play for, because if she wins today, she wins the group and she's through to the semi-finals.
Right. So the other opponent, Madison Keys, will be observing this one very closely, I guess, because she will rely on Zheng Saisai, who, if she at the ladder actually beats Venus, then Keys will have a chance.
That's right. I think in these groups, when there's 3 players in each group, usually the third player is watching the other 2 matches very closely.
Even more nervous than these players on court, right?
Because they can't control it.
That's very true. Earlier, actually, I spoke to Madison Keys, and she still feels that she's very, very confident about her chance here. And more than that, really, she feels that, you know, even though the baton from the 2 Williams sisters are not ready to be passed on to her, she says eventually she would like to take the baton, and she would like to represent the United States in a very strong fashion. Let's listen to what she has to say. Madison, great to have you with us. Welcome to Zhuhai. I trust this probably is your first visit and first experience in this beautiful city of Zhuhai.
Yes, it is. It's you know, it's everyone keeps saying it's like the French Riviera of China, and it's so nice, you know. And I've been lucky enough to be in a beautiful hotel room that looks over the water, so it's been really, really nice.
Even though this time, perhaps in Beijing, you didn't do too well, you were here. What is your anticipation? Because this is a really new event, and also the ranking point is pretty high, actually.
Yeah, it's a new tournament, and there's definitely a lot of points on the line. And
Yeah,
I think,
700 to win the title.
I mean, it can, you know, really make a big difference in where you are in the rankings and everything. So I think everyone's, you know, really looking forward to it and really motivated.
What might be the things that you had to improve down the line?
I think a big thing is just learning how to be in the spotlight and learning how to handle the pressure and things like that. And it's kind of a lot to just be thrown into it and expected to know how to handle it all. So, you know, it's definitely a learning curve that I'm trying to work on, and I think that's definitely the biggest thing for me.
Well, you mentioned the word pressure. I was about to say that. Is it fair for a lot of people to really put too much pressure on their shoulders? For example, you know, we dubbed you a successor or the successor to the Williams sisters and so forth. And do you like these kind of titles, or is it too early for you to shoulder or get this kind of baton right now?
Well, I mean, like Billie Jean always says, pressure is a privilege, and it means
motivation perhaps as well.
Yeah, it is, and you know, it means that you're doing well, and you want to keep doing well, and it's just kind of learning how to handle it all and embrace it, and you know, really thrive under it. I think Venus and Serena are both still holding onto the baton very tightly. You know, I'd love to be able to be that person that, you know, can be, you know, one of the next best American tennis players, but right now I'm just really focused on, you know, just doing my best and not really concerning myself with all of the outside expectations.
But Madison, you come from a very, shall we say, well-to-do family. Your father is an attorney, and you could have done something else. And at the age of 4, I understand that you decided, and after seeing Venus' performance and, you know, beautiful tennis skirt, so forth, you said, "This is it. I want to do that." Why is that? Tell us a little about it.
It's actually funny. My mom is an attorney as well, and I always used to say that I wanted to grow up and be an attorney, and she would say, "No, you don't."
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, I've never really been all that interested in a lot of things. I've been interested in kind of out-of-the-box things like tennis, but also interior design and things like that. So, I think I've never really been one to kind of be molded into the one that should be a lawyer or a doctor or anything like that. So I think I'm just really lucky that I found my thing at a very young age.
And Lena's autobiography actually was read by many people, and I understand you read about it as well, and that was sort of affected you as well. Tell us about that if you don't mind.
Well, we share an agent, So he happily gave me a copy of it.
Max, you mean?
Yes, Max. And you know, I read it, and it was so nice to read about someone who has struggled with it, because I feel like you read all of these stories by other people who have done well, and they say, you know, it just happened, or, you know, I just loved it, and, you know, for her to come out and admit that it was a struggle, and that she did retire early, and then she came back and she loved it later, and just, it kind of makes you be able to relate to her, because she talks about the nerves and the expectation and the pressure, and it was just a very real
So in other words, you could
story.
identify yourself with her anecdotal stories and so forth.
Yeah, for sure. I think I just loved how much she opened up and told everyone about her struggles, because it just made her much more relatable.
Right. Now, which was the end of the season here. Next season is another long path, and what is your anticipation?
I haven't even really started thinking about it, honestly.
But it's looming, right? Isn't it? Right?
A little bit. It's I'm more focused on this week, and then kind of taking a break, and then off season.
Well, in whatever your future efforts and endeavors down the line, wish you all the best, Madison, and certainly wish you that we would like to see you do well in this tournament in Zhuhai.
Thank you.
Madison, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right, Madison Keys, who still is a promising star from the United States. And the last but not least, Peter, in this today's singles action, Carolina, who did pretty well yesterday, will take on Sara Errani. And your take on that?
Well, Carolina, very tough match yesterday. Played Elena Vesnina. It was quite humid in the stadium court.
It could go either way, right?
Yes, and it's there again. It's all on the line for Carolina. If she wins this match, she wins the 2 matches in the group, and she's through. If not, Elena Vesnina is watching this one closely, because she could be through if Carolina loses.
Right. Or what about the situation where if Errani takes one set, it would be very complicated, wouldn't it?
It's complicated, but ultimately it would be Elena that got through. So it's really, Sarah has no chance, unfortunately for her.
Exactly.
But it's all about Carolina. If she wins, she's through. If not, Elena is through.
Right, right. We need to let the audience know that because of the fact that actually Sarah lost to Jankovic in two straight sets.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. So again, today has promised to be another action-packed day, and we certainly look forward to that. And once again, Peter, thanks so much for your input, really. And Beyond the Baseline will continue tomorrow with our Peter Johnston, Tournament Director.